I know you're gonna dig this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host of the End Zone Club podcast, Anthony Mitchell, where we have conversations that are wrapped around things we know now, we wish we knew when we were younger. And the purpose of these conversations is to help you go from discovering your potential to actually fulfilling your purpose. With that said, we got some hot, fresh content coming to you guys live from our studios. But before we do that, first things first, I need you to do me a favor, like, share, rate, subscribe to today's podcast. Share this content with some of your friends. Help us to develop our base even more and get this content in the ears of some new and faithful listeners. And with that, in addition, I need you guys to click the link in the bio. Donate. Give us a little bit of that quiet money. And let's go live, y'all, in just a few seconds. So buckle your seatbelts. Going into the deep.
Hello, everyone. This is Andre Truitt, representative for Just Gifted Clothing Brand. If you have individual talent of any kind, we are talking to you. Join this clothing brand that has built a community of people that encourages others to use their gifts and talents. Man, we are the fastest growing brand that you haven't heard of yet. To find out what we're really about, just go to justgiftedclothingbrand.com. Let me spell that out for you. JUSGIFTED clothingbrand.com. One more time for you. JUSGIFTED clothingbrand.com. Talent in any way, you're just gifted.
All right, everybody, we're back with another episode of the End Zone Club podcast, where, as always, we have conversations that are wrapped around things we know now, we wish we knew when we were younger. And I promise you, as I got ready to just start recording today's content, my mind was running 50 different ways because there's so much going on in the world we live in, from the World Cup, which I haven't watched any of it, but my kids have watched all of it. So they know everything that's going on. They have a dog in the fight. I don't. You would think with me having a Jamaican background that I would be one in the streets celebrating, enjoying the moment. But I promise you, I'm not saying I have anything wrong or take any offense to the World Cup, but I just, for whatever reason, haven't gotten excited about it. And then, of course, Michael Jackson documentary is still big in my home. My kids have fallen in love with Mike after watching the documentary, his music. It's on constant replay at my home. Hey, shout out to my kids. Apparently, they didn't fall far from the tree because I will be honest, I do like Michael Jackson's earlier stuff. But not going too far down that soapbox, I did have an announcement I wanted to start off at the top of the podcast with, and then from there we're going to go in several different directions. But one thing y'all know that I have talked about pretty regularly here on this platform is just the idea of setting goals and visualizations, such as putting things in the atmosphere, knowing that even in the book of, I think, Ecclesiastes, it says, be careful even what you speak in secret, because a bird of the air will take the matter and carry it to its source, or back, and then back to you. However the saying goes, in essence, it's just basically saying that there are words that you speak, or the words you speak, they have a tendency of bringing life. So if you speak negatively, negativity comes. If you speak positively, positivity comes. So in our case, one thing I've been wanting to do for some time is start a nonprofit organization. And the reason I wanted to start a nonprofit, let's go back. Let's tie this all in. I started off talking about the World Cup. And I mentioned that I had a Jamaican background. Now, just to be a little more clear, my grandmother was Jamaican. My mother's Jamaican. She comes from Jamaica at the age of 16, came to this country, relocated. But prior to their relocation, I remember my grandmother, who is no longer with us, sharing these stories of wanting to bring her kids to America because for them, she felt like there was a better lifestyle that she could provide for her kids. Now, if you don't know this, Jamaica is not the most fortunate country. In some regards, it's even considered a third world country because of the exchange rate American dollars compared to theirs. It's not the richest place. I know a lot of times when people see the country, they hear the music, the reggae, they see the food, the culture, and they think it's all resorts. But that's not the case. So she, having 6 kids, struck out for better and came from Jamaica to America. And before her kids she moved to Greenwich, Connecticut, or she worked in Greenwich, Connecticut at the hospital. Worked multiple jobs, and I remember her sharing stories about some of the nice people that helped her while she was here. Let's focus on the nice. Sometimes we talk about the negative, but I want to talk about the nice, because somehow while she was here, she got hit by a car and experienced various just traumatic experiences. However, after much hard work and after, I guess, a great support system, she ended up being able to move all 6 kids to Jamaica and start a new life. From there, my mother would join the military. The rest is history. But here we are now on the converse side of it. We have always believed that whatever you do in life, you need to take the foundation that your parents, before you had, build upon it and find a way to make your portion of the story better than how you got it. One of the reasons I say that, because my heart pains in the community when I look at the lack of accountability that culture is providing. What I mean by that, I was having a conversation with some guys earlier, and I posed the question because one thing I think is very paramount is there are a lot of talking voices that really have focused on the issues in the black community. And to me, nobody understands the issues in the black community like someone that has come from it. And what's polarizing to me is, from a position of talking points, most people make these conversations strictly Republican, Democrat. I'm not getting into it because you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm taking this somewhere. So as we have become very polarizing and we make issues about Republican versus Democrat in our community, I have to be honest, a lot of what I am countering and seeking to offer a remedy to is bigger than Republican and Democrat. Because if we really sit down and we look at a lot of the issues that I feel that God has given us a voice to address and given us a platform to be able to help respond to the need and to elevate and uplift my community in. If you have an honest conversation about who benefits the most off of the pains of the black community, the truth of the matter is both Republican and Democratic, most importantly, capitalistic ventures have preyed on the black community long enough. And as a responsive citizen, I do feel a need to really just address it sometimes, because if you really think about this in the inner city, so I work predominantly in Memphis now, but I've been in other intercities like Memphis and Birmingham, and I've been through Little Rock and other places. And if you look at the culture that's in place, that's engulfing a lot of our young kids, and that's in one sense of the trap or the other, that's drawing them in, whether it's the drugs, whether it's the fast life, whether it's the crime, the killing sprees, whatever's drawing them in, look at the prevailing people that sit at the top of each business venture that profit the most. Think about this. When you see a young black man die at the hand of another young black man, who profits the most? It's the insurance companies. Break down the insurance companies and you look at who has the most to gain from it, then you'll understand why that particular function is not going to do much to stop the killing. When you're looking at the guns that are flooding the streets, think about who's manufacturing the gun and how military-grade weapons are getting in the streets. Think about this. I've always asked that same question. I know Chicago is a talking point because of the murder rates, and I'm not absolving the individuals that are doing the shooting for what they're doing. But if you have an honest conversation, a lot of the issues that pain my community that have been highlighted in the ways that they have, if you just be honest about who's benefiting, there's a lot of people benefiting. A lot of people have become multimillionaires off the music. I would say billions. One of them just died. That highlight the negative section of our communities. Why do you think you can rap about drugs? Why do you think you can rap about promiscuity? You can rap about crime. You can rap about doing very deviant actions. But the moment you begin to provide positive outlooks on life, nobody's going to push it. Why is that? If you follow the money trail, it's not profitable to do anything positive. I see this. If you were to look at most of your top executives, do you think they all vote Democrat? Or do you think they all vote Republican? Or do you all think they'll vote whichever way is going to make them the most money? See what I'm saying? So instead of thinking the answer is in a Democratic or Republican party or in a political front, let's look at some of the things we as adults and individuals, we can lend our services, our abilities, our time to pouring back into our own communities to do the portion that we're able to control. As it pertains to me, I'm a firm believer that the family structure is one of the most important building blocks of every community. And when the family's not healthy, that neighborhood is not healthy. When the neighborhood is not healthy, the community suffers. I know there are some problems that are systematic that have incarcerated a lot of young black men, but then there are also actions that some of us do and have done that lend to the incarceration rate. I want to see hope provided in our communities that we are seeing sometimes. Well, I see too many young men that see the fast way out as being the only way out. Fast money is an easy way out. Sometimes school requires a different level of sacrifice. And then, of course, some people have also talked about how the education system has been seeming to fail. I'm not really wanting to go on a rant as much as I did just lay a foundation for all the issues that people have consistently highlighted in our community. I have seen the need as a man, as a father, as a leader to stand up even more and to do more. So when you're listening to a podcast such as this one, the End Zone Club podcast, do know that this is one section of our voice where we're able to address issues, hit topics that are close and near and dear to heart. But this particular episode is different than any I've done in a while, because I have really grown disenchanted with hearing some of our conservative pastors, some of our political pundits, some of all of these various voices that are cashing in on black trauma. I don't think we realize that the black experience here in America is more than just about slavery. It's more than just about traumatic situations, because the black experience is not monolithic. There are many intelligent black people in this world that have never been on food stamps, that have never been involved in crime, that are not having babies out of wedlocks, and whatever these talking points are that a lot of people are attributing to the ills in our community. Every community has issues, but here at the End Zone Club, because I have a leg in, a foot in with the black experience, it would behoove me, with all we offer to the community, to all people, to not also be focused on helping the young men and women around me that look like myself to be elevated and to be a positive example the best way I know how. So with that said, it's official. We are a nonprofit. We're in the final stages of our formation. I've gotten my EIN number back. Hallelujah. We've gotten our articles of incorporation filed. We've gotten bylaws drafted up and getting ready to open a bank account here in the next few days, so that everything that we do from this point on, we can do it with greater force of impact. It's nothing for me to get on a microphone and talk, but it's another thing to have resources to travel to other states, other communities, by the invitation of people such as yourself that are listening to this platform, and being able to get in the faces of young people and let them know, hey, there's another way other than what culture is putting in front of you. I will be honest, a lot of the music that we have been ingesting over the last so many years, I will say, attributes to a lot of the behaviors that we see acceptable amongst our youth. You know, when a lot of people now are beginning to see a lot of our young black people congregating in masses, they become afraid, because even right here in Memphis, Beale Street has become a hot topic. Memphis has become a hot topic because it has been politicized. However, there are resources these cities are lacking that allows the school system to fail. I thought Dr. Fagan was great for the city. Unfortunately, that went a different way. Right? The systems are failing, jobs are leaving, communities are falling apart, resources are leaving, and now is the only alternative. People are turning to what they know the best, and that's crime. Anytime you have uneducated people with no money, no opportunity, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to exhibit their base nature. So just the idea of policing the streets is not going to fix anything. How about restoring? You guys already see where I'm going, but I want to say this: with us being a nonprofit, and undoubtedly I hope to receive funds and grants and donations to be able to do things, but I'm hoping to make more of an impact, just inspiring. I'm not here to tear kids down because maybe some of them can't read. I'm not here to tear kids down because maybe some of them have made bad choices. Or maybe they come from single parent homes. Maybe they were illiterate. Maybe they have a 6th grade education. I don't care. It's not about how you start, but how you finish. So with that said, guys, I'm excited for this opportunity because I think about the good people that helped my grandmother to be able to get her vision here in the States. And from there, we've planted seeds, and many of us have gone on to do great things. But to honor her legacy in a way that when you see me, you think about her, you think about my mom and all of my other siblings and cousins that have come from the same tree, and you think about us being willing to roll up our sleeves and to do the work in the community that has to be done. I know last episode I talked about the football camp we just hosted, getting ready to have a free baseball camp, hopefully at the end of the month, and all that goes on with our military life. We're still actively involved. Kids are kidding, right? They're doing their things. My son is getting ready to turn 13 in 3 days. But as life is going on, it doesn't absolve us from seeing the needs in our community, being honest about it, but doing everything we can to address it. So I'm hoping this year, or before we get into the end of the year, to be able to have said, God empowered us to make a greater sense of impact in our community than we ever saw. I mean, the old model that we were operating under, strictly through donations, grassroots, that has been great. That stuff will continue, but now we're going to broaden our horizons so that we can be more effective in our reach. Anyway, guys, this is me, Anthony, here at the End Zone Cup Podcast. I'm getting ready to get my hair cut, so I just wanted to shoot this content out real quick. Yeah. But let's go.